back to Double Down University. I'm back with you guys with another KBO PrizePicks video breaking down the Sunday slate. So I have three props that I really like for you guys. The first one being Austin Dean over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, as well as Jerry Young over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, as well as Mr. Hanwha, as I like to call him, and I featured him in both of these two guys, the last two guys in yesterday's video. We're going back to them again tonight. So An Chai Hung over 2 hits, runs, and RBI. So let's get into it. We're going to start off with Austin Dean in his matchup. So he's going up against the pitcher for the NC Dinos, which he is one to really target because he fits the criteria really well. I would like to see his walk percentage a little higher than 2.8. You know, we want to see it like anything over 5 is really good for a hitter perspective, but he has a low K percentage, so he's not going to strike out a bunch of batters, which bodes well if we just get Austin Dean to put the ball in play, as he only has a 12% K rate, and then he also has a FIP score which is horrendous at 5.49, and then he also has a super low left on base percentage that bodes well from a hitting perspective as well at only 67% left on base percentage. So a lot of the base runners that he does have on base are scoring, and they're not being stranded on base. That is huge. Going forward to Austin Dean. Austin Dean crushes righties as he bats .316 against righties, and he has more power against righties than against lefties, as he hit 16 home runs this year against righties as opposed to only 6 against lefties. And then also his RBI increases substantially at 64 RBIs against righties and only 23 against lefties. So I really like him in this spot in this matchup. And then also with the pitcher, his splits is kind of pretty much even. It's no like drastic split. He gives up a 293 batting average to righties, which is Austin Dean's side that he's going to bat on, or side of the plate that he's going to bat on. And then he gives up a little higher batting average to lefties, but we're going to attack him with a right-handed hitter today. And then moving forward to Mr. Jacob Young's matchup, he's going up against Wang Se-Oh. And with him, same criteria. He has a slightly higher K percentage at 20%. League average is around 22 to 23%. So he's still under that. This is what we look for when I just talked about with Austin Dean's matchup, how he only has a 2.8% walk percentage. This guy has a 10.8% walk percentage, which is elite from a hitter perspective, not from a pitching perspective, because that means he's either going to strike out a bunch of batters or he's going to walk them, and that can run up your pitch count as well. But the one thing that's telling with him, he does have a 75% left on base percentage, but I think that is kind of fictitious. Just looking at that and then looking at his FIP score, which it is really important in this league, FIP score. And I've touched on this last night too as well. The defense in this league is horrible, so everything is pitcher dominant. FIP score eliminates your defense and basically does metrics on like walks, hits, things that the pitcher can control. And basically his FIP score is 5.31, which is horrendous. You want it low, like an ERA 2.3 point something. He's actually at 5, and then also his expected ERA is expected xFIP is 5.04, and what expected xFIP is like park adjusted depending on the parameters of a park. If it's like a hitter's ballpark or a pitcher's ballpark, it kind of factors that in a little bit. So his ERA is still, his xFIP is still 5 something, so that's horrendous. And then we're looking at his splits. He does have a slight variance to righties, give up more averages to righties as opposed to lefties, slightly by like 10%, which he gives up a 256 batting average to righties as opposed to a 246 batting average to lefties. We're going to attack him with Jacob Young, who's, like I said last night, he's been absolutely killing the ball. I think he hit a home run last night to go over his prop for us last night. We're going to go back to him. He's crushing it in his league. This league is like when pitchers get behind in the count, they just throw meatballs over the plate, and he should feast on those type of things, especially those type of pitches. Now, granted, I touched on this last night as well, is that he has a small sample size as far as going up against pitchers in this league, so his numbers is kind of heavily inflated, but he does really well against righties. He bats .500, so if he has 4 plate appearances, he's going to get 2 hits out of those 4, and that comes up as a .500 average. And then he also does really well with runners in scoring position, as he bats 350 with runners in scoring position. With runners on base, he bats 379. So he's going to score runners. All he needs to do is have the people in front of him, his protection in front of him and behind him, to be able to do their job, to be able to either score him or set themselves up into RBI opportunities for him to score or to help them score. And then also, last but not least, we have the pitcher for Kiwoom. Another matchup in this spot as well. He has a 16% K rate. He also has a 9.1% walk rate, which is really, really well and bodes well for a hitter to be able to just, if he doesn't get on base via a hit, he also has a potential to get on base via a walk. His whip is a little higher than average at 1.3. 1.30 is the average. He is at 1.48, so he's slightly above that. And then he also has a left on base percentage of 69%, which we like as well. He has a really good FIP score, but it should be a lot lower, like in the threes. But 4.334 is not bad. But I think that we can attack him today with Mr. Kiwoom. I mean, not Mr. Kiwoom, excuse me, Mr. Hanwha. So and let's look at his splits. So his splits, same thing. He favors lefties opposed to righties. Now, granted, we do get a righty against him, but I think that Mr. Hanwha is swinging the bat really, really well. So we're going to stick with him and not really care too much about splits here in this matchup. And we're going to look at his situational batting, and he crushes righties as he bats 305 against righties. And then another key split too as well is he is going to be in this matchup at home. So let's look at his home and road splits as he bats 329. I read that wrong. He bats 329 at home versus 282 away. And then he also increases his home run power at home as opposed to away, as he has 10 home runs and drives in 37 RBIs. So I really, really like him in this spot at home against this caliber of pitcher. So those are my three. I'll go back through them. I have Jacob Young over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. An Chai Hung, we're going back to both of those two again, over 2 hits, runs, and RBIs. And then last but not least, Austin Dean over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I appreciate you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.